Good afternoon, everyone, and it's a fantastic Saturday afternoon, and this gives me great pleasure to welcome each and every one of you on behalf of PNB MetLife to the PNB MetLife JBC Dugout. It's so good to have you here. और इतने सारे बच्चे आपके, इतने सारे fans आज logged in हैं, and they're all watching you, and it's great to have you on board. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. What's been your routine during the lockdown? Everyone wants to know about this. This has been the most asked question. You know, when we were getting the registrations done, people all wanted to ask you when they saw the promotional posters, and how did you manage to stay fit during the lockdown, and how to keep yourself so fit physically and mentally? It's easier said than done, so we'd like to hear it from you, Sindhu.
Yeah, so we've never had this time. Basically, we were always playing tournaments, or our schedule was so busy that we didn't have time to spend, with our family. So the first time, I think after so many years, like we got so much break. So during the lockdown, it was more of like, even though I spent a lot of time with my family members, I also used to train at home. Because I know we couldn't play badminton because everything was shut and we were not supposed to go out. But it was just that I used to have my schedule. My trainer used to give me, and I used to just train at home. And my dad used to help me with the exercises and stuff. So yes, that is how I kept myself fit. And as soon as badminton started, I think it just took me, 2-3 weeks to come back. And then I was completely fit. So this is how I kept myself fit physically, and mentally. I would say that, definitely a lot of people, because Olympics was not, far off, where we just had 3 months, when it was in 2019, but 2020. So I think it was all of a sudden where we all were preparing for Olympics, and all of a sudden it got postponed. Well, initially I felt a bit bad, but also it was a good thing where I really took it in a very positive way, that I got enough time to actually train a lot more and work out on my mental aspect and physical aspect, where I can actually work out on my strokes and on my technique as well. So this is how I kept myself positive, and I think I've learned a lot more, and I've got enough time. And now we are all set for the Olympics. Hopefully it will happen. So that is how I kept my mind and, body mentally and physically.
How was the online training, and how did that help the kids through the JBC bootcamp videos? And what's the roadmap to starting regular classes, regular coaching in the near future? This is a very important aspect which we are all concerned about.
Yeah, so firstly, I'd just like to thank Mr. Ashish and PNB for this fantastic initiative. I think, like it's been mentioned already, I think this event, the JBC, has grown into the largest grassroots tournament in India, and I'm sure, Ashish sir, you will see far bigger numbers than even 10,000 in the years to come. We'll even imagine that this number was tiny going forward. But with regard to online training, look, there's only so much really that we can do, in a small space, at home. It's important to also not overdo anything at home, and end up maybe just getting a little bit of an injury, which can potentially get you, down mentally. I think just the fact that there is a regular, online class, like I said, from 2 to 3, like I was conducting it, it just helps everybody, even at least virtually, meet every day. And I think even though it was virtual, I think that sort of connection with each other, with your fellow players, with your coaches, and all of that just proved to be so important. I think going forward, we will have to accept that some amount of connection, training, and all of this, some amount of it is going to move online. It might not be temporary like it has been now. And I think videos like the bootcamp videos are extremely useful, extremely helpful. Of course, I'm a little bit older now, but if I had access to videos like this while growing up, it would have been such a huge blessing. And who knows, we might be lucky to find the next Sindhu coming out of one of these JBC tournaments, and I'm actually quite confident we will.
Right, you've been helping a lot of sports persons in maintaining a healthy nutrition plan now. How has the diet changed for players, especially during the lockdown period?
Mir, if all the parents are listening and the kids are listening in, the pandemic has been really, uh, I wouldn't say bad, but it's been a time where, because athletes were not playing, their body is used to consume a certain amount of calories. And so to suddenly drastically, like for example, let's say I do the nutrition plan for Sindhu and she requires 4,000 calories a day. Now in the lockdown, she's going to do her training, but her calories will drop down to about 2,400. So that's like about a 60% reduction. So everybody began to not have the necessary means to go out and train aggressively in their sport. But food, your stomach took about 2-3 months to realign. So you kept eating. So most of my players have had fat percentage gains. And so now when they're coming out of the lockdown, those that weren't as disciplined, like Mrs. Sindhu said, that, hey, this is what I did. This is what I was doing with fitness with my dad. Many of the players, especially the younger players, and this is going out to all the younger players, you never stop training. If you have 5 square feet, you train in 5 square feet with your body. But I think the problem with nutrition is everyone always trained hard and then said, I've trained really hard, so don't tell me what I need to eat, because food was seen as a reward, right? Now, in this period when there was no when there was no training, food was the only reward, right? The good part was the Swiggy and the Zomatos were all locked down also. So mummy, daddy's cooks had to, and Miss Sindhu also said she began cooking. So I think home cooked is one strategy that happened in the lockdown. And I'm so thankful for that, because I always tell people, restaurant food for an athlete, think about it. If you and I made form a restaurant, we'll go for profit line. We'll not go for nutrition line. And athletes need the nutrition line. So home cooked can be organic, can be safe, can be powerful.
My next question is for Sindhu. Of course, this is about the association that you have with PNB MetLife. How do you feel being the brand ambassador of PNB MetLife, who's promoting the country's largest level badminton tournament? And what are your thoughts on corporates like PNB MetLife who are into promoting sports in India?
Well, firstly, I'm very glad to be part of the PNB MetLife family, and PNB MetLife plays the role of a trusted financial partner to many, and it is also one of the most talked about, the platform of junior players in the country, because talking about, as Anup said, the JBC and stuff is really going on really well, because every time I've attended meetings like this, I hear a lot about JBC, and I think it's much appreciated. And I think JBC is one of the most talked in junior players, because I've seen a lot of players improving and doing really well thanks to the efforts of PNB MetLife. And badminton has become a popular sport in the country today, as you all know. And I think PNB MetLife has reached the grassroots level to promote badminton as a sport, and also provided a platform to the young talented players to play and compete with each other. And I think the other great initiative by PNB MetLife is, as I said, the JBC boot camp, which helps aspiring badminton players to, I think, sharpen their skills through various tutorial videos by, top coaches in India. As you know, Anup Sridhar himself has been a really good player, and also is a really good coach.
Ashish ji, what is your message that you would like to give to the JBC aspirants, the younger generations जो लोग देख रहे हैं, और काफी सारे बच्चे ये भी पूछ रहे हैं कि अगला JBC tournament कब शुरू होने वाला है?
God willing, बहुत जल्दी. So we want to do it, this year, and the team is, working, to see how we can make it possible as soon as possible. Looks like by the middle of the year. तो हम बिल्कुल चाहेंगे कि ये गेम हो और बच्चे आएं और खेलें.
This is once again from the audience. It's from all of us. When you play a game, you've got the dreams of 1 billion people resting on your shoulders. And I'm sure many other sports persons have faced this question before you. And I'd like to ask you the same. So when you're trailing in a game, when you're trailing in a match, how do you bounce back? What is that motivation you give to yourself? कि नहीं, अभी लड़के जीना है और हार नहीं मानना है, वापस आना है. हम भी तो लड़ रहे हैं ना, कोविड से लड़ रहे हैं. We also need that boost, that impetus. So what is that one thing you would like to share with us about how you manage yourself on the court?
Yeah, firstly, there were a lot of matches where I was trailing and, I was about to lose, but then I bounced back and won. So at that point of time, I think only one thing goes on my mind. I can just say that anything can happen any moment, and just believe in yourself. And I keep believing in myself because there were a lot of matches where, for example, in 2019, I would say at the World Championships in the quarterfinals with Taizu, I lost my first game, and in the second game, I won the second game. It was like 20-20, and then in third set, I was trailing 39. And I thought, it is not over until it's over. So this is the only thing I, keep telling myself.
And all thanks to the entire PNB MetLife family, all the guys who are working in the back-end team who made this meet possible. Have a fantastic 2021. Closing remarks from you, Ashish ji.
I would just say, to all the children there, so thanks for being there today, and keep believing in yourselves, keep winning.
Absolutely. Keep believing in yourselves and keep winning. Anup ji, Ryan, Ashish ji, and Sindhu, thank you so much and have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful 2021.